I can imagine how difficult it is these days getting a job that sponsors you and all that. It can be really draining. That's why some people can decide that they want to do their OSCE by themselves. They want to go and register for OSCE by themselves. So what are some of the requirements you need to self-sponsor yourself for your OSCE examination? This is what this video is going to be talking about. Hi, welcome back. So like I said, this video is all about the requirements for your OSCE self-sponsorship. So what are the things you need to put in place to be able to do your OSCE by yourself, sponsor yourself for your OSCE examination, go to the UK to write it, come back and get a job, maybe easier. All right, what are the things you need to do for? So first thing, most of it is all about funds. So make sure you have the necessary funds in place. And what are those funds? So make sure you have the money to book your OSCE, which is about £794. Yeah, £794. Make sure that one is set on grant. So if you're in Nigeria, you're in Ghana, South Africa, whatever country you are, India, do the conversion yourself, convert it to your local currency, and you have an idea of how much you to put in place for this. All right, so have that on ground. Then you need to have proof of fund or bank statement, like a bank statement stating that you have enough money, in your account to be able to take care of yourself. Usually they recommend £5,000, but find out what works best in your own as well. So that's that about that. And then the third thing you need to do is to have your international passports. Okay, you need to have your international passports at hand. So when I wanted to travel, this was the first thing that I did. This was the first thing I made sure I had in place. I did my international passports, was it 2018, and I was only able to travel 2022. So after doing it, I left it on ground and was doing other things, going to school and all that. So the very first thing you need to have is your international passport. Then you need to make sure you have the funds for it to book your OSCE, which is around £794. Then you need to have a bank statement or proof of funds, like money in your account, or usually, I don't know how they do it, but you just try to make sure that you have enough money in your account, which is usually around £5,000, to be able to take care of yourself. This can vary as well with the timing. And then you need to have an NMC UK decision letter. So there is this letter or email they send to your email address telling you that you're not qualified to sit for your OSCE examination, you're not qualified to sit for your CBT examination, like you're qualified to sit for your test of competence, which is part A is CBT, part B is OSCE. So that is your decision letter, that email that says you can now sit for your test of competence examination. So that's your decision letter. You need to have that on at hand. You need to have a letter from your current place of employment, your Nigerian employer, stating that you're employed with them, like you have a place where you're working currently, you're employed in Nigeria or in Ghana or wherever country you're from. And then you need to have money for your flights, your visa, and then accommodation when you get to the UK, because you're going to be staying somewhere. Or if you have somebody in the UK already, say you have a friend, you have a family there, you can stay with them. But otherwise, you might start looking for money to rent an accommodation. Usually when you rent Airbnb, is about £40 to £60, and you need to have this in place to get yourself ready for it. So £40 to £60 per night, 55. The last time I booked, I think I paid £75 for 2 nights. Okay, that's about £35 each per night. So I booked this one in Wales, so that was when I went to Wales then. So it varies with the city you're staying, the place you're staying, but just make sure you have like £50 or £60 per night on ground. So you might be staying 3 nights, 4 nights, depending on when you traveled and when you're going back. And like I said, have your money for your visa, have your money for your flight. Flight can cost about maybe 1.5 to 2 million naira. So you can convert this to your local currency as well. This is naira, not pounds. 1.5 to 2 million naira. Then your visa fee, the visa fee usually costs around £252 or so. So make sure you have this money on ground as well. So £252, if you convert it to your local currency, you know what you're expecting. And then so I think I've listed them. So let me start afresh. You need to have your international passport on ground. Make sure you have money to book your OSCE on ground. Make sure you have a bank statement or proof of funds stating that you have enough money in your bank account to cover up for your stay. So they usually recommend £5,000 or so. This varies, to be fair. And then you need to have a letter from your employment, like your place of work currently. If it's Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, India, make sure you have a letter from your place of work. So usually the HR can write a letter to you, like just write a letter with the hospital address and hospital stamp stating that you're currently employed with them. So it's very easy for you to get that. Then you need to have money for flights, which is like 1.5 million to 2 million naira. You need to have money for visa, you know, 252 pounds or so. Then you need to have your accommodation booked as well. So make sure you have your accommodation booked, you have your money for your accommodation, you can go there and book it, or you have somewhere you're staying. Just necessarily have a roof over your head. That's what all that matters. It doesn't matter where you stay. And then the last one is the letter from NMC stating that you can now sit for your OSCE. All right, so these are some of the requirements. And before you start it, make sure you have all the requirements on ground, you have all the requirements at hand, you have them ready, you have them readily available, especially the funds, because that's what makes up, you know, majority of these things. So make sure you have your money, you know, ready, you have enough money for yourself to fund yourself. And when you're ready, you make sure you have dates booked for your OSCE. So usually you should book a very far date, because with all this process of applying for your visa, doing biometrics, waiting for it can take time, and you don't want to miss your exam dates because you're waiting for your visa to come, or you're waiting for a cheap flight. So make sure you book your OSCE date for a very far date. So if you're starting in January or you're starting in February, you can book it for August, September, end of the year or something like that. Just have a far date, or it doesn't really matter sometimes, but it's just advisable, because the visa alone can take up to 8 weeks to come out. The visa can take 8 weeks for the decision to be made on your visa, and then you start thinking about which flights do I book. Most people book Qatar Airways, some book Egyptian Airways. Those are some of the cheap flights that you can take. British Airways is very expensive, so you might not want to go for that. So make sure you have your return ticket booked. Like that 1.5 to 2 million naira that I mentioned is for, you know, return to and fro. So make sure you have that booked, and book it, you know, from a very far date, just so you have it cheaper for you. So if you're booking for August, for instance, now in January, you can, you know, you can get it cheaper than when you're booking it a month to, you understand? And then you can start the process. So after you've had the funds ready, you have all the requirements ready on ground, you book your OSCE date, and then you can start the process. I hope you got value. Let me know in the comment section. If you have any questions as well, drop it in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next time. Bye.